Hello and welcome along to the ProjectCars2 Virtual Racing League. Today we are joining the Xbox platform as they continue the battles in the Touring Car Championship. 4 makes of cars and plenty of drivers as well, and we're joining them for round 5 today at the Oschersleben B circuit? Maybe I said that right, who knows. Round 5 it is, so yeah, we've already had 4 rounds at Snetterton, Silverstone, Hockenheim and Alton, and at Alton Park it was absolutely soaking wet, and the weather conditions are set based on what the weather forecast is for the day of the race. So unfortunately for those who don't like the wet, it's going to be soaking wet here again, I think, at Oschersleben, looking at the forecast. Team standings at the moment is JD221 are on 301 points, just ahead of Big Bad BDC, Scuderia Chris, and very close actually between the top 3 there, but Alex WWK not far behind, Subrosis Swaza not far either behind, so it's all to play for in the teams as it is in the manufacturers' driving standings as well. So like I say, 4 cars fighting away. You've got the Renault Megane, Opel Astra, BMW and the Mercedes, and at the moment Subrosa, Chris, Scuderia Sam and Roger Dodge are leading the way, but that could all change here today at a very, very wet Oschersleben. And in the overall standings at the moment is Subrosa leading the way on 228 points, just ahead of BDC Dan there. Cristante is in 3rd, one of the favourites, big favourites beforehand, and see how he gets on today ahead of his Irish friend there, D-Man. Roger Dodge in the top Mercedes car makes the top 5 there, just 1 point ahead of Alex CDM, who's had a couple of disconnections and a little bit of bad luck so far. Joe Brown is still up there in 7th, despite missing a couple of races, ahead of Cherry Berry. Scuderia Sam and Luke McGee fighting away there, only a point separating those guys, and Stuart Davis as well in the mix. But let's have a look at the starting grid here today, Alex.
Yes, Bruce takes pole for Roger by only 2/10. Then they are massively ahead of the next row with Alex 2 seconds back, same with Sam there. Then it's D-Man with BTC Dan, Loopy McGee and Scuderia Sam, and then in the nicely BMW, and then Free Gazelle with Newman Swaza, and then Big Bad Wolf on the last spot as he didn't set a time, unfortunately.
Yes, they're on the grid now, and you can see the rain absolutely chucking it down, and they're away now, and it's a great start by the front 2 by the looks of it, and Roger Dodge is in the lead, just ahead of Subrosa, Stuart Davis, Alex. Subrosa is falling back slightly, Scuderia Sam in, outside into 4th on the outside now, and Subrosa is back to 5th, BTC Sedan is off. He's off in the green car. He's spinning round. There's Scuderia Sam off the road too. He's coming back on the circuit, lucky not to collect anyone there. And BTC Sedan has it all to do now. 2nd in the championship, of course, at the moment. And side by side goes Free Gazelle and Big Bad Wolf as well there, with Luke McGee involved too, and who is that, Swazzer I think too. Oh, and Free Gazelle taking out the cameraman there. Oh, and Sam taken out. What's someone else doing the spinning round? That's Free Gazelle and
Loopy.
McGee, yes it is, Luke and McGee both involved. Oh, that's a big shame for them. Luke McGee, of course, is in a really tight midfield battle, and he needs all the points he can get. And that's Swazzer, I think, in the Mercedes there, going quite nicely. He's just ahead of Big Bad Wolf, but it's Roger Dodge ahead of Stuart Davis leading the way now. Stuart Davis, oh no, Subrosa now. Stuart Davis has fallen slightly back. That's he's in a different coloured car, so it's very hard to tell. Stuart Davis in this one, he's usually in the orange BMW, so not trying to copy his teammate there, Scuderia Sam, both in exactly the same car, so that would be interesting for us commentators. Alex, though, his teammate is trying to get a way through here, but he's not going to let him through that easily, is he? And the start is under investigation. What could that be for, Alex?
Could be for Free Gazelle Loopy incident, which is really bad for those two because they're actually teammates. So you see Scuderia Sam battling with D-Man looking around the outside. Can be done because he can cut back, but is he going for it? Looks like it. That Astra turns in beautifully, and he'll have the tighter line though. So Scuderia Sam might get the power on the outside, but I don't think he's going to do it. But the BMW's a lot faster, and he's going to try, as we see. Oh, incident between the teammates, Alex and Stu. I wonder if Alex flew out with Sam and just biffed the back of him, but it looked like he tried to avoid him, but hard to say with all the spray and the different braking. But yeah, it's really unlucky. They didn't lose too much time in front of BTC Sedan, but Scuderia Sam still holds his place, so he's keeping D-Man behind him, which will frustrate D-Man because he looks like he's got quite a bit of pace. But looking on the inside, 2 completely different lines, almost on the gravel there, but D-Man's through. Yes, around the outside, great move there by D-Man.
Yeah, we can say that the Astra turns in very nicely indeed. We've seen the BMW struggle a little bit in the wet, so I think it's only a matter of time. But of course the BMWs will be fighting each other in a second, I think, with Stuart Davis catching nicely. Unless D-Man makes a mistake, of course, and then it's all game on once again. And this is Screwy Sam looking down the inside actually now of D-Man, going down the inside and just about nearly takes him out, but brakes just about in time, I think. Oh, clattering that curb there. Stuart Davis for company now as well, the two BMWs. It's like looking in a mirror, isn't it, for the both of them? And just behind them, I think they've got BTCC Dan recovering nicely as well. And that's Sabrosa and Alex CDL down the inside with Sabrosa. An absolutely fantastic manoeuvre there by Alex on the championship leader. Great stuff. And that's Roger Dodge in the lead, but running wide. And who's that? Stuart Davis is off now. I think he hasn't lost any positions though. He just comes back on where he was. So you can see it's absolutely treacherous, and the drivers are really being made to work for this.
Yeah, it's really tricky as you see Swayze down there in 8th, so I think so, yeah, a good position for him as we see Sabrosa now, and Alex got past him. He seems to be the man that's fastest at the moment, as he's catching Roger up quite nicely. It's quite nice to see 3 different manufacturers fighting on the podium. It's either been all Renault or all Astra so far, so Roger really getting that Mercedes to work nicely for him around here, and especially in these wet conditions.
Yeah, 4 different manufacturers in the top 5 as well, if you count the BMWs. And someone going into the pits there. Who was that? Was that Swaza, possibly? I'm not quite sure.
Yeah, it looks like it in the BMWs going down. I think him and Wolf are both pitted, but we see Alex now going for a dive like he did on Sabrosa, but thinks not doing it in the end. He's all over the back of that Mercedes. I think they can have lapped someone already. It's only been 4 laps. It could be Wolf who has pitted. It's a shortened Oschersleben circuit. But pretty tricky for the shortened one. As I said, it's mostly almost losing it there, but Alex likes the car quite tricky, as you've seen at Hockenheim. Just drifting the car. Will he go for a move? No, Roger doesn't quite block. He's running his own line. He doesn't want to start blocking too early, but this is a great little battle here. This is D-Man and the 2 BMWs following him. I think that's that's Scuderia Sam, the leading BMW. It's we have to thank Steve for choosing the exact same liveries. But great little battle going along here. Stu will be watching to see what happens here. Looks like Sam's going for a dive because the BMW superior down the straight. Thinks better of it because the brakes are, quite frankly, awful. And I think that was Stu going on the grass. Now Alex looking around the outside. That'd be brave if he tries this. He might try and get the cut back. Roger will probably just back off a bit, which he does. He just holds that tight line so Alex can't get through.
Yeah, I think Scuderia Sam probably just hoping, rather than looking down the inside into turn 1, hoping that D-Man would lock the wheel or something, try and distract. As soon as Astra gets away, I think it's just going to be BMW versus BMW then, such as the pace advantage in clean air, of course, without being hassled. But at the moment, still the trio of cars battling 4th, 5th and 6th. A nice little battle as well up front, and further down we've got BTCC Dan not far behind this trio, and then a little bit of a gap back to G and Free Gazelle. I don't know if those guys are pitted. Of course, as a reminder, 2 15-minute races at this track, and you have to pit, don't you, on one of those races, so it really mixes up the grid nicely. I think it's been working well so far as well, that rule. Yeah,
it certainly works for Sabrosa, who uses that rule to his advantage. I think that's Swayze off in the other Mercedes. He'll probably want to get out of the way of the leaders here, so he goes to wide, so it looks like he's doing, but it's not enough for Roger. He really biffs him out of the way, so that allows Alex to go through as well. Roger, the leader, enforcing his position there on the back marker, but both through. Alex almost around there. That's a super tricky Astra in this. It's almost like the Renault Clios they raced, those things will spin on a dime. But back to the midfield, well, it's not even midfield, it's 4th place, and D-Man goes very deep. That's going to allow Sam up on the inside, and Sam takes that position from him. Will Stu take advantage of it? He's looking at it, but I don't think he got the exit to really go for it.
yeah, the BMWs do seem to be a little bit stronger through the slower speed corners like that one, but now the faster speed corners like this one is where the Astra starts coming to play, and D-Man's going around the outside. Oh, and a great manoeuvre there on Scuderia Sam, right around the outside. Very brave indeed. Trusted Scuderia Sam not to just run into him there, and very easy to just to understeer in this as well. So really brave manoeuvre, and this is for the lead now. This is Alex CDL on the outside of Roger Dodge, but just about outbreaks himself, does Alex, and Roger the Dodge maintains the lead there, and Alex CDL's dropped a little bit back there, but he's not fallen into the clutches of Sabroso, who's just hanging back here by the looks of it, waiting to see how things unfold as we approach halfway now in this race. But D-Man's, yeah, fantastic little manoeuvre there. The Astra does seem faster on the faster corners than the BMW. And Alex CDL having another go now down into turn 1. Looking around the outside, just about only gets the braking just right this time. An absolutely fantastic, well calculated manoeuvre there by Alex CDL and Roger the Dodge. You can see that one being lined up a lap in advance. And Roger Dodge now is down to second position, but he is very much in form at the moment as the Mercedes driver, and we'll have to wait and see if he can find a way back past.
Yeah, and it's almost like that Astra's drifting around these hairpin corners the way it's that wet. But yeah, the Mercedes really likes the wet conditions, and he's not letting Alex get away, even though Alex seems to be a tad faster, but that Astra's fantastic on the brakes, so you can see Alex has lined that, moved up from before as we go on board from Roger. You can see how hard the rain's coming out, and Alex really struggling through that right left. That's going to allow Roger to catch up nicely, but it's so hard to pick your braking positions with all the spray and the rain. But it doesn't seem to be affecting them. Alex completely missing the apex there, and that's allowed Roger to catch up nicely as we come back to Sam now, who's fallen back a bit from D-Man. Still in 5th, still ahead of Frigazelle. Frigazelle up to 6th, so Stu's pitted, and that's promoted Frigazelle up nicely, so fantastic position for him if he can keep that. And oh, that's Roger off. Roger's off. First corner, I think he might have tried to do what Alex did, and it didn't work.
Yeah, we saw Alex did something similar, didn't he, on the lap before, although not quite as bad as Roger's incident there, but it looks like he was trying to out-Alex there, and it didn't quite work this time round, so now he's going to have to do his own little calculations, how he's going to get past the Astra driver. And look at this little battle here between Big Bad Wolf and Swayzer. This is great. This is for the last 2 positions, but it's just as feisty as anything, and rubbing door handles there a little bit, and Big Bad Wolf there says I'm going to come through and take that position, and Swayzer did really nicely there as well, just to give him enough racing room, and the battle continues through the midfield section now, and just up ahead you can see that there's a BMW driver there. I'm not sure which one it was because it's got the same livery, but there was a BMW driver looking to attack at that point. I'm not sure who it was. It could have been Scuderia Sam, we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, I think it was. So this is the battle now between D-Man, the Irishman, and Scuderia Sam, the Welshman. So a nice little Celtic battle brewing here.
Yeah, great little battle. These two they've got a rubber band between these two. Every time one tries to get away, it just slingshots them back together. So great little battle for 4th place. Not quite podium. I don't think they can quite catch the front 3. Saying that, I think Sabroso's just pitted. Yeah, he's pitted. He's down 5th now. That's promoted these two up. Well, D-Man up into the podium. So this is a fight for the last place on the podium now.
Yeah, and of course with Stuart Davis pitted there, it'd be really interesting if these two stay up, especially Scuderia Sam, who, well, basically not really in a championship battle with D-Man, it's more in a championship battle with the likes of Luke Pucci and Stuart Davis' teammate. So it'd be interesting to see whether he stays out and takes these points, or hits and resumes battle with his nearest championship rivals. But I mean, if the podium's up for grabs, you're going to take it, aren't you?
Yeah, definitely. And that's very deep for Scuderia Sam. Always on to the wrong track, gets it going again. Doesn't look like he's lost too much time to the Astra. It's said that BMW works quite well on these slow hairpins. But look at these front two. Roger right on the back of Alex now, using that slipstream. They have BTCC Dan watching them, so they've just lapped him. Looking on the inside, I don't think he'll have the braking power because that Astra's so good on the brakes. Closes it nicely though, so he's worked that well. Almost on the inside, Alex keeping the tight line. Rogers looks like he's trying to drive around the outside. You see the blue barrier. Alex forces off, slides the car in front of him. This is the BTC Sedan going winding back around. Does Roger have a look? Not close enough it looks like, as we see these two battling as well. seems to be two main battles at the moment for the lead and for third place, so it's all to play for on the podium.
Yeah, we've seen Subrosa do this quite often with the pit stop in the first race. Even if he is up there in first or second position, he'll pit, and then towards the end of the first race, and then he won't need to take his pit stop in the second one. So he has done that again, so he's keeping forward to that. And Gazelle as well, we haven't seen him pit much in the first race. He seems to like taking maximum points in the first race and then pitting in the second one. So it's a nice little trend starting to form. Oh, and look, battle for the lead. This is Roger Dodge on Alex, and really aggressive stuff there, pushing Alex wide, and Alex has to get out of it in the end, and he's down to second now. And Roger Dodge very forcefully takes the lead. This is a really good battle for the lead here between these two. And Alex looking down the inside once again, but not quite close enough this time. Clatters that curve over the top. They just lapped BTCC down by the looks of it in the green car there. And who has pitted, I believe. And Roger Dodge is still in the lead here, but it's all to play for. There's only a lap or two to go. And Alex CDL is really on the hunt here. And Roger Dodge, though, he's an excellent overtaker, like we saw in the GT3 Championship. He did some fantastic manoeuvres in that championship, didn't they? So, you know, Alex CDL certainly knows what he's up against here.
Yeah, I think Roger took home the best overtake award for his overtake on Stuart Bathurst over the Skyline, so he definitely knows what to do with overtaking, but he's got to defend now. He's got to show his defensive abilities from Alex, and we know Alex can be a bit feisty when it comes to overtake, especially on his teammate, it seems usually. But I think they come out, Alex almost around there. That Astra's very skittish in these conditions, but he's closed up nicely now. May even try and get a run on to what will most likely be the final lap now as they go across the line. You see got a massive runner on Roger around the outside. He did this move earlier, so will he try and do it again, and will Roger just let himself break a bit later? But I think Alex has already got it done there. We're rubbing. I think Roger did try and let the brakes off a bit so he could keep it, but Alex already had the move done. There's a confirmation there. This is the final lap, and we have D-Man and Scudder Sam still battling away. But D-Man's deep. D-Man's outbraked himself onto the gravel. That's going to allow Scudder Sam through, and Luke G follows him through as well into the barrier there. That's really lucky for him, but that's Scudder Sam through. So we got three different manufacturers on the podium now. It's got Astra, Mercedes and BMW, and Roger doesn't look like he's giving up. That's Stu getting out of the way. He's about to be lapped. He'll probably be wondering what could have been from his incident earlier with this man, but just one more corner left. Carefully does it. Roger breaks a bit late because he's been very good in that last sector, but it looks like your winner of the first race is Alex from Roger.
Yeah, really good scrap, really enjoyed that between the two of them. Roger will be a little bit gutted he didn't take maximum points there, but fantastic manoeuvres from both of them there on each other. And Scudder Sam did very nicely to stay with D-Man, and really good scrap between these two as well, wasn't it? And D-Man in the end just made one little error, and that was enough.
Yeah, really unfortunate. Sam's pressure just got to him in the end, and that allowed Sam to take the podium, and really good podium there. The BMW's quite tricky in the wet, as we see Sabroso coming over in fifth, so he'll be happy. He only lost two places from his pit stop, so he did that to perfection.
Yeah, and only one Renault in the top 5. I mean, we were wondering whether the Renaults were just going to dominate all the podium positions at one stage earlier in the season, weren't we? So it really blows things open. And of course, Sabroso was pretty dominant as well in that Renault in the last time out.
Yeah, he's really dominant, especially in wet conditions, but there's no Joe racing as well, so that changes things as well. But there's your final positions, and a few replays now of what happened. I think this is the start time.
Yeah, a little bit coming together. Sabroso looks like it, and BTC Sedan. You can see that BTC Sedan just goes straight to the scene of the accident. Sabroso got a little bit out of shape, and there's nowhere for Dan to go there. I think that's Luke McGee right down the inside there of D-Man. And one man we haven't talked about so far is the guy who's sitting third in the championship. Oh, look at this. This got a little bit cosy, didn't it?
Yeah, really good.
One guy we haven't talked about, third in the championship, is Chris Doherty, this man's teammate. And he didn't even be able to start. He wasn't even able to start the first one, was he?
No, he had connection issues, so he wasn't able to race, unfortunately. As we see replay of the two teammates going off there. That's Free Gazelle and Loopy. It looks like Free Gazelle just tried to come back across onto the track and collect him, which is unfortunate. We see a close-up of Alex and Stu. Yeah, it looks like Alex didn't expect the break-in of the BMW and just tagged the back and off went. So that's really unfortunate. And then on board with Alex and Roger pushing the Mercedes of Swayzer out the way. He was in a good battle there. And this is... Ooh, I think that's Stu just losing it a bit on the puddles.
Yeah, we saw, I think, the second half of that, didn't we? Earlier on, coming across the grass. But yeah, for him, lucky for him, it wasn't a full spin. But yeah, to pit in race 2, we've got quite a few drivers actually. We've got Alex CDL, Roger Dodge, Scudery 7, D-Man, the top 4 from the previous one. Free Gazelle, who was 6th, and Chris Doherty, who wasn't in the first race, but he has to pit anyway. So on the grid now, waiting for the lights to go out. Race 2, and away they go. And it's Big Bad Wolf starting on the random grid pole position ahead of BDC Sedan. BDC Sedan takes the lead, and Stuart Davis coming down the inside in the orange BMW now. Thank God for that, he's in the orange one. And Roger Dodge is in 4th. Free Gazelle is really in the mix now. He's up to 4th now actually, and BDC Sedan maintains the lead. Roger Dodge is coming back at Subrosa here for 2nd and 3rd position. Stuart Davis finds himself right around the outside, and Free Gazelle's getting a little bit tangled there between a couple of cars, and Subrosa takes out the cameraman this time, and Free Gazelle's round, and he's made contact with a few cars there. I don't think it was his own fault, he was just right in the wrong place. Oh, and round goes Alex CDL. He gets a little tap there from Chris Doherty, I think it was, or it might have been D-Man. They got similar cars, and round as well Swayzer. Swayzer was in an excellent position there, and he goes round, and that's yellow flag or something, I think. Big Bad Wolf is really enjoying himself up there in 6th at the moment. He's ahead of Scuderia Sam, Stuart Davis, McGee, but it's BDC Sedan who leads from Roger the Dodger. Well, Roger the Dodger now takes the lead. What's happened to BDC Sedan? I think he's run wide somewhere, possibly. He's down to 3rd now. Big bump there from Big Bad Wolf as well on Chris Doherty there. Chris Doherty, of course, will have to get up to speed quickly, having not raced in race 1. You can see just up ahead there, he's got BDC Sedan and D-Man battling away for 3rd and 4th, but it's Rosa leading the way. And Big Bad Wolf has his mirrors full of Scuderia Sam, goes on the inside now.
Yeah, looks like he's using the pace of that BMW nicely, but the brakes are, as I said before, not very good. You just have to roll him off. Wolf just giving him some room there. That's good of him. So he could have put him into the barrier, but he didn't. But he knows the Astra's better on this corner. Keeps the slot, keeps the position. Just pushes Sam out wide. You see Sabrosa leading. Kind of expected, really, as he doesn't have to take his pit stop. But he's got a nice lead. Oh, that's Wolf. I wonder if he outbraked himself, but that's allowed the two BMWs through, as those two seem welded together. But Stu's pitted, Sam hasn't, so that'll come into play a bit later. But Stu won't be held up too much by Sam, as we see. Looks like Wolf off again. He's really struggling in these conditions with that Astra. He's not enjoying it.
Yeah, and it's almost free abreast now with the Astras coming into the penultimate corner. Big Bad Wolf goes wide, and Luke McGee and Alex CDL go through. Oh, really very close to being a huge accident there, as Alex CDL was coming into the pit lane, and Big Bad Wolf was returning to the track across it. That could have been a really big one. But this lets Luke McGee go, so let's see what sort of pace he's got. He's got Stuart Davis up ahead, and the two BMWs, of course, 5th and 6th at the moment. And then Sabrosa, it looks like he's pulled up a little bit of a lead now on Roger the Dodger. Roger Dodge finds himself once again up there in the first 2 positions, so he's really liking these conditions. And Chris Doherty is really nicely getting up to speed now. He's right on the back of BDC Sedan, who's going to go defensive now. So we come round the long left-hander corner in the middle of the track, and BDC Sedan holds that position. It looks like there's a little bit of a train forming though behind him now.
Yeah, it's definitely a BTCC Dan train formula. You got Chris trying around the outside. That'll be brave. Oh no, he's outbraked himself, has he? I think he's trying to go around the outside, but that's allowed the BMW, and that's just going to let Dan push him wide onto the grass. You see Free Gazelle down in 9th, on board with Stu. You just see how bad the rain is. For some reason he's not got his wiper on. Hopefully find a switch for that in a minute. But I think that's D-Man down the inside. Not D-Man, sorry, Chris down the inside. It looks like he is. Yeah, great move there by Chris. Now BMW trying around the outside. That'll be brave. Then Stu up on the inside here. This is a great little battle. BMW should have the run on that Renault, but the Renault will have the slipstream. So I don't think that it'll work just as well as Stu hopes it for. He'll have to try and brake late, but don't think he has the braking power. And that's BTC Dan just out braking himself, trying to cover off two BMWs. Someone off in the back, and then I think that's Wolf. You got BTC Dan in this BMW sandwich. You won't like that. Sam loses out big time, but Stu gains a position, so he'll enjoy that. And then who's that behind him? Loopy, I think, and they're all wide. It's a great little battle here, and BTC Dan now off, and Loopy gains a position, 2 positions. It's all change here. It's a fantastic battle.
Yeah, really good stuff. Classic touring car racing this is, isn't it? And side by side though go the Scotsman and the Welshman, and Luke McGee just backs out of that one, bides his time a little bit, and he really did pounce, didn't he, Luke McGee? He was nowhere to be seen, and suddenly emerging from the mist and the spray, he nearly got 3 cars in one, but it was 2 in 1 at the end. And away from all of this carnage and flames and smoke and everything, Chris Doherty serenely makes his way up there into 3rd. He just about got away from all this, didn't he? He escaped all this fun. And BTC Dan, I was surprised he hasn't got a little bit more pace, to be honest. He's up there in 2nd in the championship, and we've seen him really take some good fights, wins this year. Oh look, down the inside now, this is Stuart Davis and Scuderia Sam, 2 BMWs battling, and Stuart has to back out of it. He's on the grass, and he's had to cede the positions, and Scuderia Sam's up to 4th there. But BTC Sam, we've seen him have a lot more pace than this in the past, so I'm not sure if he's struggling a little bit this circuit.
I think it's a mixture of the weather conditions and the circuit. He was saying in the when the drivers have a chat afterwards that he really struggled with that Renault compared to, say, someone like Sabrosa up in 1st. But back down in 8th to 9th, the winner of the first. Oh, Alex is off. He's struggling as well, it seems, with the rain. He's not enjoying the second race. I wonder if that spin's just affected his confidence, being spun around like that, going from a nice win in the first race, and he's right back down in 9th. But he's got company in D-Man, who finished a nice 4th, so he'll want to do better this race, but it doesn't look likely. Oh no, that's a big hit there. That was quite ambitious by BTCC Dan, but because Loopy had that corner covered. But still going as we go on board with not on board, we go on with the world's fastest cameraman again, looking back from Loopy on the Renault, but you can just see the braking difference. That Renault really has to brake a lot later, but it seems like he can actually make the corner where Loopy didn't. They had to shorten that corner, but let's be honest, it's an awful corner design, so there's that. But a great little battle forming here as we see, looks like Sam and Stu have just broken away a bit from these two.
Yeah, as they're all fighting, looks like that, and Swazza looks like he's out of the race by the looks of it, unfortunately, and maybe Big Bad Wolf as well. You see on the timing screen, he's really dropped back, so unfortunately I think we've lost a couple of drivers there. I'm not sure how. We have seen a few disconnections during this championship on this ProjectCars2 game, so it might be something to do with the number of drivers we're running, or I'm not quite sure on that one, Alex, but we have seen those issues take their toll, haven't we? But this is Free Gazelle now getting out of the way of race leader Subrosa, and Free Gazelle is in a battle, well, by himself, to be honest. Unfortunately, he's taking his pit stop, I think. Yeah, I think he has, and he's just in a battle by himself at the moment.
Yeah, it does happen, but he got the points he wanted in the first race, and it's just a case of getting to the end now, getting some more points. 10th place is still a good points finish in position. As I said, there's a few less drivers in this one, no Joe and a couple of the guys we had in the other rounds, but you see Roger in 2nd. We'll have to see when he pits what happens, because even though D-Man was battling and Alex had his half spin, if he loses too much time he could be down by them when he comes to pit, so it is an extremely long pit lane.
Yeah, it feels like it takes absolutely forever, doesn't it, this pit lane. You see the Mercedes making its way through. Oh, now into the pit lane, so it's slightly earlier than we usually see Roger the Dodge pit in. If he is pitting in race 2, he usually leaves it till the last minute, but he's pitting now. He decided that this is the time, and it'd be interesting to see where he comes out here in relation to Alex CDL, who he was battling in the first race, of course, and also D-Man 221. And then we'll have to wait for Scuderia Sam as well, because all those 4 drivers will, say they finished 1st to 4th, didn't they, in the first race? So it'll be interesting to see where they all finish. But it looks like Stuart Davis is going to really benefit from this because he's got a couple of drivers ahead who need to pit.
Yeah, he'll be hoping to get that BMW on a podium because obviously Roger's pitted now. Scuderia Sam will have to pit, who's in second, so that promotes him up to second. So this could be a fantastic result for him, as we see Alex now in the orange Astra being chased by the green machine of D-Man. Quite a lot quieter race this one for these two than the last one, as we see Roger exiting the pits. Quite a tricky exit this. Well, it's so tricky you have to take the grass, but he looks like he's well out ahead of these two, so he's saw a gap and took it, and it's worked out well for him.
Yeah, really nicely there for Roger the Dodger, up in 6th, so he's going to get a nice haul of points there, and that will probably become 5th when Scuderia Sam pits. Looking at Scuderia Sam now, he's pulled out a little bit of a gap there on Stuart Davis, but Stuart Davis knows what's going to happen, I think. So in terms of, Scuderia Sam needs to pit, so he's probably just biding his time a little bit here, but where's the next battle going to come from on this track, do you reckon, Alex?
I think it might be when Sam pits. He may come out by Alex and D-Man, which would be very interesting. Sam renewing his battle with the Astra driver, but it all depends on whether he can get his fast laps in, as Stu very deep there just makes the corner. It shows how difficult it is in the wet, that you think you can get the braking right because you did it the lap before, but the conditions change and you end up in a completely different spot than you expected. So nice neat driving there for Stu on the controller, so that's why it looks like he's soaring away at the wheel. Such tricky conditions, you can see the puddles all over the shop, so it's easy to aquaplane as well. The BMW's not the favourite for the wet conditions, but Stu's making it work for himself, as he already on the podium, but he should inherit second as long as everything goes to plan for him.
Yeah, in this circuit in the wet, that's Alex Idiali spun. I was just about to say, this circuit in the wet is extra tricky because they've got camber changes as well as the treacherousness that comes with wet weather. And Alex Idiali just a little bit caught out there. It looks like it was halfway down the straight there before he even got to the corner. What on earth happened there?
Yeah, I wonder if one of the puddles just caught him out of the corner, and it just sent him around. Possibility is that he's had a bit of reputation for spinning in the GT3s, but completely different beast. We see Sabrosa now pulling to the side. I wonder what he's up to. I know he'll be coming up to lap Chris up ahead, but I think he's just taking it a bit easy. Got a massive lead over second place, who has to pit anyway. So he doesn't want to get into too much of a battle, but you can see he's on the steering wheel compared to Stu, as he's quite neat and tidy. Bit wider there, you had to just make sure the front tucked in, but he's definitely got this under control at the moment.
It does seem that way, doesn't it? The championship leader here, he loves the wet conditions. Remember back to Barcelona in the GT3 championship we ran, and he absolutely dominated that race in the wet in the Porsche, and he's dominating this race again today, and he's playing the tactical battle nicely too. And this is BDCC Dan and Roger the Dodger battling away. So BDCC Dan in 5th position at the moment, but now it is 6th, so Roger the Dodger makes his way past there and up into 5th now goes the Mercedes driver, and BDCC Dan will have to try and stick with him if he can and make this into a little bit of a battle, because he really does need these championship points in his fight with Sabrosa. We are coming to halfway through the championship now, of course, so it's a long way left to go, but of course we have gone through half of it too, so it'll start to play on the drivers' minds a little bit in the next few rounds now, the championship, and Sabrosa at the moment is definitely looking the favourite, I would say.
Yeah, it's definitely looking the favourite currently, but like I said, the rounds start to go down, so anything can happen, whether a disconnect. So you see a bit of a backfire there from the BMW, but they're saying disconnect, poor finish, not finishing the race. It can all happen, as there's still a few rounds, and it can really change things around. As especially with the point system, we see that's D-Man off, so he's outbraked himself. It really shows how tricky the conditions are starting to get in this second race. But Sam has come out between the two Astras, so that incident Alex had has really affected him, and he's lost a position you'd think he would have had. But imagine Sam will want to get past D-Man, especially since he knows he can do it from the the first race.
Yeah, D-Man will be extra determined to keep that BMW behind him this time, won't he? Because it was just a little small mistake he made that let the BMW driver past in the first race, and this time he's got a little bit more of a gap back though, so we'll be interested to see whether Scuderia Sam can close that gap or not in the couple of laps we've got left of this race. And there's Alex EDL as well chasing hard, he's got some good pace, so yeah, don't go him out either, or Chris Doherty. And we've seen, of course, Chris Doherty, the points he's lost by not racing in race 1 and having to take a pit stop in race 2. It really does put you on the back foot, doesn't it? Basically writes off your entire round, and if that's something like that happens to one of the championship leaders, it can really shake things up nicely.
Yeah, it's happened to a few drivers. This is one driver it happened to at Silverstone. It's also happened to Alex at 2 other events, I think, as well. So it can really mess up your weekend and championship. As we're in the final laps now, we got Roger chasing down Loopy, who's up in third. It's a great position by him there. It's really taking advantage of not having to pit. But Roger will be hunting him down into these last few corners. He's definitely got the pace. As Loopy goes super wide there, had to check up, didn't want to go in the gravel, and that's allowed Roger to catch up. Loopy going defensive, Roger will have the momentum because he takes normal line. Going a bit defensive, not fully. Will Loopy outbreak himself? He does, and that's Roger on the inside, and that's him going up into podium position. Will Loopy be able to fight back for that third place? It's close, but I think Roger just gets it.
Yeah, Roger Dodger just ahead of Luke McGee there, and great little overtaking. You see Luke McGee was really struggling, wasn't he? Coming onto that straight just ahead of Roger Dodger at the time. But yeah, really good drive there actually from Roger the Dodger to get up to third despite his pit stop. And I think he's actually taken the most amount of points across these 2 races, more than anyone.
Yeah, he's definitely, yeah. So we see your race 2 winner there, Sabrosa. He's really enjoyed that, so he's had some good positions. We see the Astros messing about. They're glad it's over. And Stu coming home now, 2nd place. He'll be super happy with this, as long as he keeps on the road. A bit drifty there, but he'll be happy with 2nd place. He's had a few tough races now. Snetterton comes to mind, but yeah, really good finish there for him. And there's another 3 different manufacturers in the top 3, so that's really interesting. That's happened now in these 2 races.
Yeah, it really shows how close it is, and Stuart Davis taking those points means he's going to be the top BMW driver in the championship, I do believe, leading this one, just going ahead of Scuderia Sam. So his decision to take the pit stop in the first race, really, it was a really key decision for him there, but there's confirmation of the top 3, so Sabrosa taking the win there by 38 seconds. That's a hell of a margin, isn't it? Ahead of Stuart Davis, Roger the Dodger, Luke McShea, great 4th there. Ahead of BDC Sedan, who is a good result actually for BDC Sedan in the end, top 5, isn't it? But of course he needs more points in this championship battle than that. D-Man just ahead of Scuderia Sam, and Chris Doherty there was on the back foot. And Alex EDL threw away a couple of positions. As we look at some replays now, this is at the start, I do believe. BDC Sedan. Talk us through this one.
Yeah, it looks like he got an initial good getaway. Definitely better than Big Bad Wolf, who just went backwards. Who's that? Then Sabrosa looking down the middle. These 2 collected in the first race. Did they collect again, or did Dan just outbreak himself? Nails a cone. Nice, clean getaway so far. You can see the carnage in the background. There's people having to avoid everything. And looks like nice getaway from BTC down there in the start.
Yeah, in contrast to the race 1, where he was facing the barrier and the wrong way, and all his problems starting just then. But yeah, really nice getaway for BTC Sedan in the green machine. You can see Roger the Dodger there. It's excellent grip in that Mercedes all race. Just ahead of Sabrosa in the early stages, and now on board with this is actually Luke McGee. This is his almost triple overtake.
Well, that's super unlucky. It was well worth a go, but I say only managed 2, but still 2 positions he took. And then is this what happened to be sent? Yeah, you can see the car just snapped on him. He had to correct it, and that sent him into the gravel. As we see Alex and I think this was D-Man. Yes, yeah, Alex around the outside of him. So that's a brave move, drifting the car there. You can see how twitchy Alex has that car. I think he's on loose setup, so that could be one reason, to see Alex facing the wrong way. into oncoming traffic, and then Schweizer doing the exact same thing. He's around, and a couple of big spins and some surprises in that first race, which really compromised a few people's races.
Yeah, and Big Bad Wolf running wide, it's just so easy just to make a little error in these conditions. And you think, we're in May now running this championship in the UK, and you think it'd be a little bit more sun than this, but no, we're having quite a lot of wet weather fun, and some of the drivers are loving it, and others are hoping the sun returns pretty soon. And down the inside there, who's this? Is this Sabrosa? Not sure who that was. Nice little overtake, and this is BTCC Dan getting involved in a little BMW sandwich.
Yeah, I don't think he enjoyed that. He was getting bashed about a bit between the BMWs, and Sam just keeping it on the road there. Good driving. Then that allowed Loopy to catch up to nicely before he tried his triple overtake, I think. And big dive there by BTCC Dan that allowed the Astra up on the inside. So what was quite interesting race 2, all the Astras seemed to struggle, and see your team standing there, and massive gainer in points was Alex WK, who jumped up to first with 359 points, and then dethroning JV221 down to second with 344 points.
Yeah, look how close it is, 344, 343, 342, and then not far back there to Sabrosa, Schweizer, and then Loopy Gazelle, Alex and Roger, and Queensberry. But it just goes to show Alex and Stu Davis what happens when the teammates aren't crashing into each other.
Yeah, that's usually their trend, but they seem to do it as they won the GT3 teams, as we see the manufacturer stand now. It's no surprise who's leading the Renault, and that's Sabrosa with 288, a nice little lead there over Dan. As we now see the driver standing, and said Sabrosa with 288 from BTCC Dan with 225, who didn't have the best of rounds, let's be honest. From Roger, who did have a good round instead with 213 from D-Man and Alex. So those two catching up in the Astros. From Chris, who we gutted to miss in the first race. From Stu and Scuderia Sam, those two super close in the BMWs. And Loopy, Jay Brown, who missed the round. Cherryberry, Bad Wolf, Crazy, Stu Pot, Free Gazelle, and Schweizer.
Yeah, really good fun that was, and couple this with the truck racing that we've got going on in the DS4 championship at the moment, and to be honest, it's the best racing I think we've ever seen in this league, so don't forget to subscribe where you can see plenty more of it next time. So yeah, see you next time.